Welcome into Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. I'm Meghan Payton. Seahawks get the win. I don't care if it was a meaningless win. Seahawks still come up on top against the Cardinals. So guys, here at Seahawks Today, I've told you this before. It doesn't matter how well your team is doing. It matters how many subscribers you have in order to get more videos. So we are currently at 23,585. We have to get to 23,600 by the end of day if you want the Seahawks videos to keep on coming. So if you have not, please subscribe to our channel. And if you have, please recommend us to our friends so we can keep keeping you updated on all things Seahawks. And as we said, the Seahawks come up on top against the Arizona Cardinals in Week 18 to finish out the 2021 NFL season. Now, I got to be honest, this game really didn't feel as meaningless as it was. I understand this had no impact on the Seahawks' future, but it felt really intense. I was watching this game and almost forgot that it didn't have any impact on the Seahawks' remaining schedule. But Seahawks do beat the Cardinals 38-30. Russell Wilson looking so much better. We're going to talk about him here in a second. Unfortunately, the really sad news of the night was Quandre Diggs. Quandre Diggs was carted off with a leg injury that we did find out from Pete Carroll was a dislocated ankle and a broken fibula. Diggs will become a free agent in 2022. Of course, we know he's back-to-back Pro Bowler, and I think you could see his emotion. I think his emotion on his face showed us enough. He was absolutely crying, and the teammates are all feeling for him. Pete Carroll did say that Tyler Lockett is going to stay with him in San Francisco because Quandre Diggs will not be able to return back to Seattle tonight. It's pretty serious. It seems like it seems as if he's going to need surgery. And of course, this begs the question of what's going to happen to Quandre Diggs next season after he does obviously become a free agent. Now, Pete Carroll does seem confident that he's going to be back ready to go for next year, hopefully on the Seattle Seahawks. But ultimately, right now, we have to just think about how he's doing, how he's feeling. Obviously, a lot of emotions going on for Quandre Diggs. So let's send him some love here at Seahawks Today. Go to the comments right now and type "Get well, Diggs" and wish him a speedy recovery. All right, so as I said, this was a real Seahawks game. I don't care that there wasn't many stakes on the line, but this Seahawks team, they fought hard. Pete Carroll said in his presser after the game that they actually did something fun where they said, all right, last week against the Lions, that's their NFC championship, and today was their Super Bowl. So congrats, Seahawks, on winning the Pete Carroll Super Bowl. Russell Wilson looking really good today. I felt really encouraged by his play. He was 15 out of 26 attempts, 238 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. So there's a lot of game balls, I'm sure, that can be given out to the Seahawks team, but I do want you to pick one. Our pinned comment for today's show is who gets the game ball against the Cardinals? Go to the comments right now. Let me know who you think deserves it. All right, guys, I am going to switch gears over here and talk about Russell Wilson because, of course, many of you guys want to know what's going to happen to Russell after this year. I don't think much is going to change. I know that there's a lot of rumors, a lot of trade things coming up about Russell Wilson. Is he going to be in Seattle? Is he going to maybe use his trade clause? I don't think Seahawks are wanting to get rid of him. And I don't think Russell Wilson really wants to leave. As we went over today, he did really well, 238 yards. Yes, he did have 1 interception, but a QB rating of 110.7. Russell Wilson is getting back to looking like the quarterback that we know. In my mind, I feel good about Seattle's future. I feel good about Russell Wilson. I feel good about where they're at. I do think that they're going to come up with a lot of questions as we look ahead to 2022. What's going to happen with Russell? What's going to happen with Pete Carroll? Starting with Russell Wilson, I mean, clearly there have been rumors suggesting that he could be traded, but I'd say most of the rumors are saying that Wilson will be in Seattle next season. He has not made it seem like he's interested in leaving, and he did play really well today. So if he's not interested in leaving, I don't see Seattle being interested in leaving. I think Russ is going to remain with the Seahawks unless something crazy happens. So I could be wrong, but I do think that this roster will stay more similar than you may think. So we look at what Russ has done in 13 games, of course, missing those 3 games due to the finger injury, and not terrible. I know he's had some rough games here this season, 5 interceptions, a little bit higher than you would think. 22 touchdowns, though. Still, he put up over 2,000 yards, almost 3,000 actually, 65.2 completion percentage. I'm honestly not worried about Russell Wilson. I'm not worried about this Seahawks future. And so that's why I have no problem saying to you guys right now, let's get our Seahawks gear for 2022. It is never too early to start prepping for next year. This season is over. There's going to be lots that happen, but get prepared, get some cool Seahawks stuff. Go to chatsports.com/Seahawks gear. They've got this great hat. They've got stuff that is up to 50% off. You know, I love the throwback stuff. I tell you guys all the time. I think that this is a really cool button up. The beanie's still available. The sizes on some of these shirts, though, are running out. So if you do want some cool throwback stuff, of course, that is always the first thing to go. I see it all the time. So go right now to chatsports.com/Seahawks gear to make sure you do not miss out on any Seahawks cool outfits, gears, all of the fun stuff. All right, now we're switching gears to Pete Carroll. Those have been the two guys, obviously, as we look ahead to 2022, what's happening with Russell, what's happening with Pete Carroll. So the rumors continuing to circulate about Pete Carroll seem to be that Pete Carroll is going to remain in Seattle. ESPN's Dan Graziano does not expect major coaching change. We found that out a couple weeks ago. Now, this is Carroll's worst record, 7-10 in the season. Not fantastic, but at the same time, Pete Carroll has been a successful coach in Seattle. So whether you want him to stay or not, that's not really the question. Pete Carroll was asked today on whether he's concerned with his future in Seattle, and he said simply, no, I'm in great shape. I think that this is something that would have to be a reoccurring factor for Pete Carroll to actually leave. I don't think Carroll leaves the Seahawks. I think we're talking to you guys coming up, and we're talking Russell Wilson, Pete Carroll in 2022. I think they're both going to be back in Seattle. So if my theory is correct, my question to you is, what is your confidence level in the Seahawks if both Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll stay? We're going to scale this 1 to 10. 1 being you're not confident at all, you'd like to see one or both go, or 10 being you feel really good. I feel pretty good, to be honest. I said this before. I know that Russell Wilson struggled a bit, but he's getting back on track. Again, guys, this was the first time in his career since 2012 entering the NFL that he's ever had to miss a game due to injury. So you've got to give him a little bit of slack here. This offensive line is improving, which is making Russell Wilson improve. Pete Carroll, yes, struggled this year, but I do think that he's going to be okay. They do need to make smart free agent moves, though. That is going to be really important. We look at guys like Rashaad Penny. We look at guys like Quandre Diggs. A lot of these names and plenty more. We did a full video on it. You guys can go check it out. DJ Reed. There's going to be a lot of questions that Seattle will have to answer, and there's going to be a lot of guys that are going to need to prove themselves and look at the tape and say, this is why I belong in Seattle. Rashaad Penny has definitely done that, in my opinion. Today, 190 yards against the Cardinals, an average of 8.3, 1 touchdown, 23 carries. He has shined this past month, guys. Look at what he has done in 9 games, 96 carries for 559 yards, an average of 5.85 touchdowns. Now, his kind of breakout game we know was against the Texans, and since then, it's pretty much been uphill from there. I do think that Rashaad Penny has earned a spot on this roster. Of course, we worry about injuries, but you can't let it be that much of a factor. So I do think that Seahawks should re-sign Rashaad Penny, without a doubt in my mind. You would have asked me this earlier. I might have had a different opinion. Now I know Rashaad Penny staying in Seattle. That's my vote. If you do agree with me, go ahead and like this video if you think that the Seahawks should re-sign Rashaad Penny. And by the way, guys, I know that the Seahawks season is now officially over, but we are not over giving you guys videos here at Seahawks Today. There is still more to come, and there's still a lot of questions remaining about where Seattle's going to be next year. Who are they going to resign? Are they going to do any trades? What's going to look ahead for them with this draft? They don't have a first round pick as of now. So there is a lot more to talk about with Seahawks. Make sure you go to youtube.com/Seahawks TV. Press that big red button. I want to keep talking Seahawks, so make sure you guys are subscribed so we do not have to stop here at Chat Sports.